Alright my friends, we are finally in front of this Corsair concept case, and first when I saw images I was like, why? And I'm sure you're thinking the same too, but as I've spoken with the product manager, we talked about some of the features, and there are good things in here because remember, the trickling down effect is a possibility with Corsair. In fact, whoever designed this case also designed the Corsair 1, and that was so much more impact and very space efficient enclosure, as you guys know. Check out the review. So this case is 10 times the size, volume-wise, than the Corsair 1. So they've actually incorporated a few interesting things, so let's talk about them right after this. Our Computex trip is brought to you by PHANTEKS, Cooler Master, and MSI. Alright, so for size reference, this is actually a bit smaller than the Corsair 900D in height and length department, but it is much wider because of that dual chamber design. But okay, let's start with the tempered glass panels. They are curved at the front with a little aluminum there. They are on swivel hinges that can be removed, so that's an that's an expectation for a case this caliber. You're meant to place it where you want. We're gonna keep the build, and you're supposed to just keep it on there and start your assembly process and keep it there after it's finished. Alright, so at the front, two 480mm radiators here. There's a tempered glass panel that is curved on both sides, and we know based on Cooler Master how difficult it is to do though, and Corsair is also struggling. Yields are like lower than 20%, not fun. But hey, look, RGB logo, woohoo! And speaking of RGB, guys, check this out. A full RGB I/O with power button, 4 USB 3 ports, 2 Type-C Gen 2 ports and audio. And because it's a dual system, you can split them so that one system receives one set of ports and the other receives the other. Now this thing is meant to compete with things like the PHANTEKS Elite, which is super expensive, and we are told that this price point will be nowhere near the $900 US, but we are told that it's going to be more priced than 900D, which is $350, so maybe like around $500. And this thing's also meant to compete with like the Thermaltake W100 series because it's very targeted for water cooling, dual system design. You can install like there's 34 fans in here right now, and you can install more. You can install an ATX motherboard in here, an ITX right below it, vertical GPU mount, multiple PCI brackets on the back that are not interfering with the this vertical ITX graphics card. So that's good. They've thought about the space. I like the power supply shroud that you can remove in order to install your second system, so that's good. This is a hard drive cage that's also removable, so and it's accessible from the back. That's nice, and there's a lot of airflow coming in. There's very thick radiators. You can do push-pull on every single side for the radiator, and just go crazy with your water cooling dreams. There's 2 fans at the back. Again, 480s on the top, and just you can, I think, maneuver it based on where you want it. So if you want it slightly closer to the side panel or moved away from a little bit closer to the center, multiple rubber grommets. And so for the fan installation, check this out. Corsair thought, what would be the best way to install radiators that will not break your arms when trying to insert them back into the case? And drawer radiator panels. So you can simply slide them out, install your fans, radiators, and slide them back in. It's both available at the front and at the top. Very convenient. And this one, I understand they will have interchangeable brackets. So this is a 480, and you can install like maybe different fan size installation there, so that's awesome. The one cool thing I thought Corsair really developed, and I would really love for this to trickle down into the lower tier categories, are French doors for the back. So this entire place is kind of closed off, and we have these little French doors that open up to reveal an SFX power supply mount here, and you can handle the cables from your main ATX power supply on the other side. But here we can have 4 SSDs on this side, 4 SSDs on here, and they are in reach for the SATA cables. They double check to make sure that there will not be compatibility issues with like length of the SATA cables. And you can mount everything here. You have access to your hard drive cage in there. And all this space with multiple of rubber grommets and cable tie installations. And I suggested for them to open up this bottom area a little bit so that when it comes to routing the cables for your ITX power supply, it will be a little bit easier, because as of right now, for certain ITX motherboards like I have, it will be very difficult to route anything cleanly with this setup. And another comment about the size with this concept slate is you could potentially use it as a piece of furniture like I have done with my Core W200 from Thermaltake. Make sure to check out that video, because it's literally so giant. You could build a PC in it, and then if you have a second one, you could put them 2 side by side, put a little tabletop over it, and there's your desk. So guys, this is the concept case from Corsair. I actually don't mind the direction they're going because, again, like I said earlier, all these features like the drawer doors for the radiators and the French doors for the backside panel to keep everything in the back kind of closed off and clean, those are good features that I would love to see integrated into their lower tier cases. But obviously, somebody would like to do a crazy water cooling system in here that accommodates for so many fans, and it's like 10 times the size of the Corsair 1. It was the same guy that designed this, that did the Corsair 1, and I guess they can go down in the size and volume for development of cases. I would never personally do anything with this system, but I'm sure there's plenty of you mod, water cool, go insane. And you know, apparently the amount of fans in here right now is close to like $700. So to give you a rough idea on who the target audience would be that would potentially use the full potential of this entire enclosure. So guys, let us know what you think of this Corsair. There doesn't even have a name, but you know, concept case, giant thing. In the comments down below. I'm Dmitry with Canucks, and we'll see you in the next video.